Jesus has been invited for a wedding.
Yes.
Mother Mary is there.
Mm-hmm.
Mother Mary finds that there is no wine. The wine got over. She comes
Yes.
to her son and
Mm-hmm.
says, they have no wine.
Yeah.
They have no wine. And Jesus turns around and says, woman, Myra,
Yes.
what if
Yes,
your son
brother.
has to call you woman in front of his friends? How would you deal with your son?
I don't think he did it out of disrespect. That was when he
Huh?
called a woman. He didn't call it with disrespect when he said woman.
Then why did he call her woman?
There is an answer, brother, but I can't get that on the tip of my tongue to tell you what it is.
He
But
calls her twice, once on the cross also.
yes,
He says,
yes,
woman.
he calls her twice. Yeah,
Okay, let me explain to you.
please.
Okay. In the book of Genesis, God said to the woman, I'll put enmity between you and your seed.
Mm-hmm.
He told the snake,
Yes.
correct? The woman and a seed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the seed of the woman will crush your head.
Yeah.
So when Mother Mary came and told him, there's no wine, he said, listen, woman, my hour has not yet come. Hmm?
Yeah.
Did she argue with him?
No.
She went and told the servant, just do what he tells you to do.
Yes.
And she passed by.
Mm-hmm.
What did Jesus do?
He did what she told him to do.
He went
He
and told
went.
them, okay, fill the pots with water.
Yes.
Now, what did he say first? My hour has not yet come, right?
Yes.
Then why did he create the miracle?
His mother asked him to.
So
he.
that means the first woman, Eve,
Yes.
led her Adam from obedience to disobedience.
Yeah.
The second Eve,
Mm-hmm.
that is Mary,
Yes.
led her son Adam
Mm-hmm.
to a mission to carry out his father's work.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when he said woman,
Mm-hmm.
he's telling his disciples who are with him that
Yeah.
when their eyes would be open after Pentecost, they would remember this sentence that he is the seed of this woman who is called to crush the head of Satan.
Oh, okay.
That is why he calls a woman in the beginning of his ministry, and when he has accomplished the ministry and is finished it, he says, woman, behold thy son.
Wow.
So he is telling his disciples,
Mm-hmm.
his apostles, this is the woman who has been
Yes.
told in the book of Genesis,
Mm-hmm.
I am her son, the seed,
Yeah.
who is called to crush the head of Satan. Okay. Now, Jesus tells them to fill water in the pot.
Yes.
Fill it up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Fill it up with such excellency that they fill it up right to the brim.
Yes.
And after the pot is filled up, he tells them, take that and give it to the main, what do you call, steward or whatever.
Steward.
Okay. Now imagine, Myra, you are the
Yes.
main steward and I'm the servant, okay?
Yes.
And Jesus
Okay.
says, take that and give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, please understand, those water pots were not for drinking water. They were for washing of your hands and feet.
Mm-hmm.
And if you use that water, which is always in the sun, to drink,
Yes.
and you are the chief, okay, and I give you that water from the pot, and he comes to know that I give it to you from there. what will happen to my job and what will happen to me?
You can lose your job.
I lose my job, and what about the pasting and the other things?
That as well.
That as well. So will I take that and say I'll go? But look at the servant. He has heard an instruction from his mother. Do exactly what my son says. That's all. He takes the water and he knows, he can see it is the water. He gives it into his hand. It's water. By the time he tastes it, what happened?
It's turned to wine.
In the same way, when you carry out God's instruction, it looks water all the time, because he'll always ask you to carry out instruction, something that you have in abundance. He will not ask you to bring something that you don't have. He'll say, bring something that you have and follow my instruction and use that water you have. And when you start using it, it will look like water. But when the time comes and you follow it to the detail, that same water will turn into wine. Your same thing, what is common with you, will now open a link for you that will turn it into a great blessing. Is that called confidence?
Yes.
So how are you going to get the resources that you need to fulfill your mission? Something that you got in your hand is a seed that will produce the harvest for you, that you can use it to fulfill your assignment. But if you don't use what you got in your hand and you're looking for somebody to come and give it to you, what you don't have, it won't work. When you start using what you got in your hand, it will go into the future and bring forth the resources for you, what you desire to have to fulfill your assignment. But the question is, are you using what you already have? So when somebody says, can you come for 1 hour? I'll give them 4 hours. Why? Because I've got in abundance what I have. And when I use it in abundance what I have, you don't understand. When I'm using it today, it's creating for me the resources that I need for the future, that I need to fulfill God's mission before I leave this planet Earth. So this is my preparing time for the resources that I need for the future to carry out this assignment. And that's how it works.
Praise God.
I just as they had water in plenty, I've got preaching in plenty. So what do you do every day? I use the water that God has given me in plenty. What does it do? It brings the resources that I need to fulfill the assignment that God has put in my life. So I'm not going to go and beg. I'm going to invest and turn that water into wine, and that wine will be good enough for me to fulfill the mission that God has called me for.